tad under the weather. I got what is going around, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I would tell you that if you can avoid getting that thing right after you've had King's Ranch casserole, it is a really good idea. But now, how many of you have had King's Ranch casserole? You don't like it, Maggie? The students love it. Well, you know, you're always imposing your morality on others, you know. Did you say no booze? Oh. I want to thank you for coming today, and we passed a couple of things around. I wanted to just go over a couple of those with you, and then open the floor for questions. We have some people that ominously look like administrators on the front row over here, and there are several questions that partly come, I think, because we have opened the process up a lot, and people may not be completely used to that, but I think you will find it is a better way of doing business. And I want to say, people often tell me that the only problem that we have at OCU is that we have no problems that can be fixed by money. And I actually think that's kind of a compliment, because the system that's in place is a good one. The one thing I never have to worry about here is the product that we produce. And as I've said many times, I have an advantage over some people because I've been able to see it in my own son. It was pretty cool before he got here. And he's up a couple of notches, as Emerald Lagasse would say, after coming here at Oklahoma City University. It has really made a change in his life. And I think the kinds of small classes with dedicated teachers, with the excellence that we strive for in the arts, but also in other things, I think are just extremely important. And my big vision for OCU is OCU on stilts. OCU creating, maybe, I don't think we can create a better Christian channel, but maybe we can create more. I spent a couple of hours with some of our dancers in New York this weekend. I'm going to visit our trustee Michael Garner, who is facing some open heart surgery, and I hope you will remember him. He's been very generous to us, particularly to the business school. But I also got to meet with a couple of our dance majors, Colby and Peyton. And you know, the difficult life that they lead, a life of physical precision, we had to have brunch at 11 o'clock because Colby was doing 2 performances of Wicked that afternoon. And that was just kind of cool. He and Peyton are great friends. And, you know, I said, how do you stay in shape? We go to the gym every day. You know, their base of operations is New York, but they operate across the country and are really great advertisements for what it is we do here. And I recently got from one of our trustees, Roy Chandler, who is really a clever guy. Roy Chandler is our E.F. Hutton. He's the one, when he speaks, you know, everybody listens. When you get him to bless it, the only person harder to get to bless an accounting thing is probably Mary Jenkins. But if you get Roy Chandler to bless it, it is blessed. And I just got that, he sends me clippings from time to time, and I just got this clipping. John, I wonder if you know about this. This student of Iris who is vamping in Las Vegas. She's a vampire. And I started to bring it today, but Maggie would not have allowed me to pass it out. But it's from some Las Vegas newspaper, and I questioned how Roy would get a copy of it, you know. But I asked him about his clipping service. So, but the product that we produce is fantastic. We need to produce more of it. We need to pay some debt down. We need to build our endowment up. We need to build scholarships up. We need to come up with some endowed funds to support faculty salaries. We need to do all those things. We tripled our debt in the past 6 or 7 years. At least, so did America. At least we spent it on some buildings that are really good and that will be here for a long time. Now we're going to have to pay that debt down, which we have. You've seen some of the figures there. And continue to do better in some other ways. We passed out a couple of things that show you about recruitment and resources and retention. I think this was not I think someone was trying to come up with the 3 R's, but I think that's a good thing. Is that you, Christine? I think the 3 R's are a good thing. I mean, recruitment is obviously very important. We're tuition driven. We have to recruit, and we have taken some efforts to improve that. We lost Eduardo, and I'd like to ask our provost, Susan Barber, to sort of catch us up where we are, tell you a little bit about Kevin Windholz, and talk just briefly about recruitment.
Do you want to just use that one?
As all of you know, Eduardo left in January, and we started on a search immediately when he turned in his resignation in October. Out of the search, we've hired Kevin Windholz, who is at St. Louis University, also a private school, so he understands the private school enterprise. He's a very data-driven person, and even though he's not going to be fully on board until May, we've already been emailing him every day. We're having a conference call with him once a week. Beginning tomorrow, we're having a conference call with him about budget and what he thinks is important in enrollment management budget. He's very well-grounded in enrollment management. We feel very fortunate to get him. He has 2 sons, and his wife is a mental health professional, so they'll be joining us in May. But we're going to be working with him over the next 3 months, mostly via conference calls, half the month of May, and then after Memorial Day, he'll be on board full time. So if anyone has any questions about Kevin and the process, be happy to try to answer those. Every week we get an enrollment report about where we are at this point in time, comparing OCU enrollment figures to point in time last year. So we are up in terms of domestic freshmen by 6,626 in terms of inquiries. This time last year we were 14,619. This year we're 21,245. In terms of admits, we are up by 1,185 students over this point in time last year. Of course, we've not started enrolling students yet, so I cannot tell you where we are relative to enrollment per se, but the fact that we're up in inquiries and admits, I think, is a very good sign. We're also up on the transfer inquiries. We are up international relative to freshmen and transfers, and down relative to graduate enrollment. So that still presents us with a challenge on the international front, but we're making some changes in the international recruiting. We hope to turn the ship around, and we are seeing some progress, at least in the freshman transfer numbers at this point. So if anyone has any questions about that, we're optimistic.
Are we seeing interest all across the school, or is it certain programs that seem to be higher than others?
Well, actually, it's all across. You can hold that question one second.
This is not consistent.
For example, in arts and sciences, where we've had some challenges. Last year at this point in time, we had 202 applicants for the College of Arts and Sciences, and this year we have 288. In terms of admits, 95 last year at this point in time, 125 in terms of admits. So we're seeing this trend mostly across the board. But I'm just giving you that one because it's first, but also because it is an area where we've been trying to make inroads in terms of enrollment.
This year we do have a new Director of Communications and Outreach in the College of Arts and Sciences, Janelle Warlick, and she has been working with our department chairs and with the Office of Admissions to develop a little bit better roadmap and plan for our departments in terms of reaching out to prospective students. So we met with each department about that and put together those plans. And right now, we're in the process of having all of our department chairs and some faculty as well to call each and every admit to the College of Arts and Sciences, invite them to campus if they haven't already been here, invite them to come to a class and make that kind of extra personal connection with each of those students. So we're pleased that the admits have risen, and our key right now, as you said, is to make sure that the yield from those admits, in terms of actual persons enrolling, but most important, matriculating next year, that number will increase.
It is so important. I know so many of you write postcards, talk to students. The tour guides always know if they see me to stop, and I will chat. I know a lot of you do that, and I think it's really, really important, and I appreciate that. Just those postcards and the notes that you send, I get responses from students all the time. Even get responses from Emma every now and then. So, okay.